All right, man, welcome. This is our opportunity to talk about planning. Now, I want to sell you on planning and why you want to listen up tonight because it is vital for you to understand that a woman loves a man with a plan that not only has a plan, but takes action on it. So, this is a key element, the key ingredient to intimacy, success in your relationships with others, your loved ones, and especially with your spouse. Okay. So I really want you guys to take ownership of this and then know that I'm not just giving you some nuggets here, but I'm giving you a key ingredient to a successful marriage. Because a lot of times, and by the way, we're going to talk about big picture planning and little picture planning because there's nothing worse, and this all lines up with the Bible, nothing worse than not having a vision. And that's what a plan is a vision, by the way. With the vision, the people flourish, but without it, the people perish. And guess what? You're a people, and so is your wife, so is your children. That's not something to make you scared. It's just the reality of what happens if we don't have a plan, if we don't have a vision. Now, why do I say a plan is a vision? Because if I can describe a vision, it's like having a dream and describe it, then you can go after it. And that's part of the plan is to be able to describe the plan and then implement it, take action on it. Okay. I'm serious. Remember this, write it down. A woman loves a man with a plan that takes action on it. Okay. I said before, I've made that phrase before. A woman loves a man with a plan, but I forgot the last part. And it's true. You can make a plan all day long. Some men are good at making plans, and then there's no implementation, there's no action. So, what's the key element to it as well? Is a woman loves a man with a plan that takes action on it. So, we're going to talk about it though. Sometimes we get stuck in the details, right? It's real. I do it myself. So, what I've tried to do is create something that will get you to move forward, decide, define your big goals. And by the way, we have big three goals. We call them the big three. Big three, y'all. The big three goals for what? For the year. No, I'm not letting you off that easy. Sorry, guys. We want to get results. So if I give you 12 months, guess what? You'll take 12 months and you'll start trying to do something about October, November. Seriously, it's just how the brain works. So what we do is we create a big three goals for 12-week year. All right, you follow me? Big three goals for a 12-week year. Okay. Crunch it down. And it's possible. It's real. It's possible. So, what I want to show you today is I created a document that will help you in this process. So, the first part right here, and you're going to be getting a copy of this, is how to break it down, how to break down those big three. Okay. First of all, I'm going to recommend that you have it in three major categories of your life that is beneficial. Financial, it's a big one. Number one, conflicts in marriage, financial. Number two, you have nothing if you don't have your own personal health, by the way. You could have the greatest plan in the world. You have the greatest, ideas and the greatest ambition and everything. But if you have no health, guess what? If you're dying, you're not much good to your family. So health is a big deal. So I want you to have a big three in that category. Okay. I'm trying to give you three categories: financial, health, that's a big deal, and relationships. Okay. Now, even in business, this works. And we'll talk a little bit about that because I know most of you are entrepreneurs. So, but for your personal life, we're going to say financial, health, relationships. Okay. If you're single, that applies to you. Financial, health, relationships. Okay. Those, I want to encourage you. We have found you get more fulfillment when you have your big three in one of those categories. And I'm going to call those the macros. Okay. Macros are the big picture. So financial, relational, and health. Okay. Now, how to break down the big three. We've got a list here of 5 steps to break it down. Set a macro goal. Well, define what you want to achieve. Financial, maybe your personal take home is you want to take home $10,000 a month. Maybe it's 5,000. What is it? And that's just a target. So maybe it's, again, do it first for the month. Then we can look at the week, right? So kind of, because you can look at the big picture and say, yeah, for the actual 12-month year, I want to make six figures this year. So I want to make over 100,000. So on average, that would be like 10,000 a month, right? So on average, that would be like 2,500 a week. Again, you can start to see, okay, so let's break it down to about $2,500 a week. That's your financial goal then. So you can start setting a target for each week. Follow me? You see where I'm going with this? So then you can start saying, okay, I know if I hit that $1,200, or excuse me, did I say $2,500? Excuse me. If I hit that $2,500 a week target, then I know in the long term I'm actually going to hit over. I'm gonna exceed my goal of hitting six figures for the year. You follow me? Break it down to weekly, because then you go, what would I have to do to get that this week? Well, first of all, you subtract what you already get. Maybe it's I already make 2,000, so I got to increase by 500. Are you following me? This is first defining what your goal is. So I want to make this amount of money, or I want to make enough money to go on a trip, or I need braces for my child, or I want to go on this vacation for my wife for our anniversary, or I want to get maybe it's a new car for your wife, or some kind of, I don't know what it is, but I would recommend that somehow or another that it's going to affect your finances. I want to increase my finances, something that's going to affect your financial dollar signs, because it is one of the biggest challenges in marriage is financial stuff. So that's what we want to address, meaning go at it. We want to be purposeful with targeting what we want there. And then you as the man are kind of setting the plan. And then guess what? It doesn't mean it won't change. Then you incorporate your wife if you're married, or incorporate loved ones if they share in this responsibility for finances. But if you're by yourself, okay, that's fine. We all need some kind of encouragement, but then we can support you in those financial goals, right? And I'd recommend getting married soon. Just saying, because then you got help. And when you can yoke up with your bride and your yoking is working together, you're going to accomplish so much more. I'm telling you, it's a huge benefit. Big proponent, right? All right, number 2 for how to break down the big 3 goals. Why this matters. Now, I've been kind of talking about it, but you need to reflect on its importance, the why. Because I'm here to tell you, man, if you don't create a why around your big 3, you're not going to do it. You're not going to prioritize it. And you're not going to create it on your calendar. It's just going to be another thing. Oh, it sounds good. I want to make $1 million. Oh, yeah. Make sure it's attainable. And make sure that the why is there. Like, for instance, let's say you had to have, well, we got some examples. We know there's some people in our community that are going to be working on adoption stuff, and maybe it's going to cost them an extra $50,000. I've heard those numbers, $20,000, $10,000. Who knows? The bottom line is, let's just say 50,000. Okay. Well, that's a big chunk in the next 12 weeks, right? If you broke that down, that's, if there's 12 weeks, that's like almost $5,000 a week, right? So the point is like, that's a big extra expense, extra cost. But guess what? The why? Come on. A human life, a child that can be adopted and put into a home that will love them and honor them and bless them. Do you follow me? That why is like, woo, I'm getting up 2 hours earlier and I'm going after it. Whatever I need to do to get that money, because I want a new child in my home and I want to bless a child. I want to adopt a child. Do you follow me? That one, you can really feel the why in it, right? Same thing though. You guys don't attach your big 3 to an emotion, so chances are you're not going to get there. So you really want to embrace the why. And if you can't create emotions around it and passion and excitement and enthusiasm, like I'm going to do it, because it's going to take that to get up every morning a little bit earlier, right? I talked about this. 15 minutes earlier will make all the difference. 15 minutes earlier actually is like over 40 hours in the year, because there's 52 weeks in a year, and it's like an hour and 15 minutes you'll get extra every week just by waking up 15 minutes earlier. Come on. Is that big 3 worth your 15 minutes every morning? Setting the alarm 15 minutes earlier, and then you make that time, set aside that time to work on it. That big 3. So I'm going to encourage you to do. That's the micro. But first, we're still talking about the 5 steps for how to break down the big 3. Okay. So you got, what is it? Set the macro goal, define it, what you want to achieve, Number two is why you want to achieve it. Reflect on it. Really make it passionate. Really attach the emotions to it. Woo, I'm going to do this. All right. Number three, by the way, I'm very passionate about something. Get it built for my wife. Why do I say for my wife? Because it's not for my wife. It's for my sister and brother-in-law. But my wife would like to have her house back. That's a real statement. That's true. And it's understandable. We all have our big why. And guess what? We love my sister and brother-in-law. They haven't done anything wrong. It's just my wife's ready to have her house back. Women are like that. They like to nest. They like to have their homes. If you're married, you understand what I'm talking about. Especially if you're married and you had someone live with you. Anybody. It could be the most coolest person on the planet. But women want their homes. And we're about 2 years now, and it's great. It's time to get that house built. So I'm really highly motivated. Help them get it done. And we're going to work on it together as a family and a team. But I'm just saying, I have a big why for my wife, and that's really a big why. I love my wife. Number three, okay, so why does this matter? Limiting story. Identify the story that has held you back. Well, I'm going to tell you probably number one story that's going to hold all of you back is I said 12-week year, and you're like, I can't do that in 12 weeks. I don't care what you think you can do. I didn't ask you. You're going to get her done, man. Come on. Come on, bro. Step up. Seriously. You got what it takes. You do. You just got to believe in yourself. Now, I'm talking to myself here. I need to hear that. Because like 12 weeks to build a house is like pretty much impossible, but so was the 8-minute mile, okay? I'm just saying. Your heart will explode before you can run it that fast. But now it's the standard. So again, I've done other projects that weren't bigger than a house, and I got it done quicker than 12 weeks. It's just, again, so I know from other experiences, I borrow from other experiences, okay, it's a house, but it's a small house, 2-bedroom, 2-bath. Can we do it? You know what I mean? It seems impossible. And I'm telling you, that's probably going to be the first story that you're going to hear talking to yourself. So that's what we need to identify. It's called the limiting story. It's step number 3 of your big 3. Because when you attack the limiting story and you just acknowledge it, like I just did, 12 weeks, it's impossible to build a house in 12 weeks. Well, I'm going to do my freaking best to get it done, okay? I get it. That is probably impossible. But I'm going to do my best as if my life depended on it. That's what you got to invoke, that emotion. And guess what? You're going to hit that goal. There's a reason why Elon Musk gets a whole hell of a lot more than you and I, probably all of us put together in 24 hours. The guy's a little crazy, but I'm just saying, it's real. The guy has multiple billion-dollar companies that he runs and he's involved in. So, and he gets more involved in, like Twitter. He was for several weeks. He was there. It's real. SpaceX, Starlink. Like he makes the rounds, Tesla, boring company, AI company, right? But the reality is he has a process and a way he does it. You and I can do it too. We just have to figure it out. Okay? So what's your limiting story? Now, create the freedom story. This is a story, create a new story of motivation, empowerment. Just like I said, if Carlos can do it, so can I. If Carlos is willing to attack it, so can I. Use me if you want to. I'm going to use Elon Musk. I'm like, well, if Elon Musk can do it, I can do it. If he can go after it, if he can wake up at extra early, or if he can lose a little bit of sleep to get it done, I can do it too. You follow me, men? By the way, you will do just fine on 6 hours sleep. I'm just saying. All right? You will. Most of you go for 8. That's great. But 7 is premium, and you'll be good on 6. I'm not saying to only do 6. I'm just saying, if you have to stay up late with a family member, a loved one, your wife, or your kids, don't get mad. And you're only going to get 6 hours sleep. Suck it up, buttercup. It'll be okay. I promise. You got this. Chalk it up to I just connected with my wife and my kids. I took care of them, stayed up a little extra longer, and I still got up and followed the plan. I love that thought. Okay. And I'm going to start encouraging you men. Screw the emotions and stick to the plan. But if you don't have a plan, if you don't have goals, you don't have a plan, if you don't have a plan, you don't have a vision, blah, blah, blah. You see how it's all connected? It's all connected. Without a vision, the people perish. All right? Super important, man, for you to know this. You can do hard things, okay? You got this. All right, so where are we at now? So create your freedom story. Some kind of phrase, some kind of something, and attach it to your goal. Just like I said. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Even if you want that to be your phrase, sometimes I have to say that mantra in the mirror. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And then I go into action. Okay? Indecision is what's going to keep you from reaching your goal in this next 12 weeks. It is. So make a decision, decide, act, succeed. I left one off. I know, Jay. I'm in a different way. Decide, act, succeed. Whatever. Anyways. But the micros, that's the fifth step. So one step is macro goals. Second step is why does this matter? Third step, identify your limiting story. Fourth step, get your freedom story and put it out there towards that goal. And then your number 5 is your micros. We must break down our goal into small, actionable steps that can be scheduled on your weekly calendar as standing appointments. You want to reach a goal? Better be a freaking standing appointment. And those of you, because this adoption thing, there's a couple of you men. It's kind of cool. It's awesome. I love it. I hope you have a whole community of people adopting. Maybe I'll adopt a child someday. I don't know. But the point is that decide, act, commit, succeed. Thank you, Jim. Decide, commit, act, succeed. That's really a good mantra. Decide, act, commit, succeed. Decide, act, commit, succeed. It works. When you can't do something, you're stuck. Say, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I'm making a decision. I'm going to act on it, and then I'm committed to it, and you will succeed. So true commitment, men, is not emotional. True commitment is I'm going to stick to the plan. That's marriage. That's covenant. So make a commitment to this, and I promise you get amazing results. So those of you adopting a child, like even though the adoption process may be long, but what do you know about it? What are you doing about it? How are you progressing it? Is it on your calendar? When we're done here, if you show me your calendar when we're done, I will know what your big 3 is. I should be able to look at your weekly calendar and go, I see signs of it. This must be connected to your big 3. I see it here, here, here. Do you follow me? Otherwise, don't make it your big 3. Okay, do you follow me? This is real. Like, we should have standing appointments on our calendar. And relationships, by the way, your epic 30 is a no-brainer. That should be every day. Connecting with your loved ones if you want to develop your relationships. And what you decide about your relationships, up to you. But I'm just saying, like, that should be a part of your macros, okay? So micros, actionable steps that can be scheduled on your weekly calendar as a standing appointment. And then we're super nice. We give you examples of health goal, relationship goal example, and then I'm going to give you one on financial goal examples. And then the micros broken down. Guess what? This is where we use Feldspar. Those of you that have been plugging into our content, we have content that's Feldspar, which helps you to come up with micros, the little goals of the big goal. Okay. So it's really essential because these are like categories that in life that we have. So again, I'm not going to go into Feldspar today, but I'm going to tell you that each of your macros will have some of Feldspar in it. And we give you that example as an example. Then we even make it easy for you. Okay. We encourage you, right? So big 3 for your 12-week year. It's a fillable chart, your health goals, relationship goals, and financial goals. So the document that has the examples and the breakdown of how to do it, then you get one to fill out. Okay? This is trying to make it simple for you guys. Is this helpful? Now you're like, okay, great, Carlos. I got my macros. I worked out. All right, I put my macro goals for my health. Then I said why this matters. I put my limiting story, my freedom story, and then I even listed out my micros, my emotional, physical, and spiritual for my health goals, and gratitude's in there, right? Thanking God, praying, like it's cool. So anyways, see the examples. I've got that now. Now I need some help understanding how do I put that on my weekly? Well, there's a weekly implementation for a 12-week year, and you're going to want to have this as well. Okay, 2 documents you'll want to print out. So, step 1, reflect on the past week. Now, here's the thing. If you want to grow, you want to take a look at how you did last week and then ways that you can improve. Every retreat, we do this. We start with a plan, the week. For all of our leaders that have ever helped us with retreats, we get there a day early, kind of get set up, do our shopping, and then we talk about what we envision for this retreat. Obviously, we have a plan and structure, but the point is, what are we feeling? It's going to lean towards the theme for the retreat, right? Like Jesse said, the MVP, mission, vision, peculiar. Okay. But we want to talk about what went well with anything that we do. So if you're doing a weekly plan, and by the way, we recommend this on Sunday mornings, which is the first day of the week after rest. We believe Saturday is the last day of the week. It's rest, Shabbat. So Sunday, your first day, being your planning day, a great day to plan and look at the week, and you still have a day off. So it's not like you're at work typically, right? Saturday, Sunday's day off. We call it our planning day, and then our family day for the rest of the day, which might involve church or fun adventures with your wife or your kids or other family members, right? Family being church members too, but it's not a day of rest. Just so you know, we don't consider that rest. But again, I don't want to get into that. The whole point that I want to talk about is reflection on what went well. Okay. So if I'm reflecting, by the way, that's part of even, reflection helps identify the wins, the challenges, and the areas for growth. So we define even what the reflection is. Helps identify wins, challenges, and areas for growth. So what went well? We want to answer that question. This is Sunday. What went well last week? What can we learn and improve for this next coming week? These are good questions. Again, so you're sitting down, you're taking a few minutes to do this. And then, was there a limiting story from last week? Maybe there was something I discovered that I realized, man, I suck at this, or I did this, or man, I failed last week at this, because you're going to discover a trigger or a trauma or something that happened last week that maybe you had a limiting story. Then what freedom story can I create out of that? So it's valuable to look at these things and understand these things. Because again, what are we getting used to understanding? Just so you know, some of you that have been through the process, what I'm putting in real time and in your practical daily application is triggers to triumph. Because if you were stuck in a situation, it's because of your limiting story. So how do I get from my limiting story to a freedom story? Part of it is going to be acknowledging, okay, I was triggered. I had this situation. I got stuck. I couldn't get through it. I really sucked at this situation. All right. Obviously, it's associated with some kind of trigger, some kind of trauma. Right? How do I get to my freedom story? Well, I'm probably going to have to release some things, acknowledge some things, and then be open to the solutions. I may need some mentorship in this. I may need some accountability so that I can be open to solutions and freedom story. Do you follow me? Okay. Again, what we're learning to do is practical application of our Epic 30 process, practical application of triggers to triumph, right? These are all essential things we will process for the rest of our lives. It's very, very valuable. All right. Now, the other thing is our MVP is the third thing that we will do for the rest of our lives. MVP, triggers to triumph, Epic 30. They're like core processes that you want to just make a part of your life that will change your life. Okay. So the MVP. So the next step 2 for your weekly calendar is, what is my MVP for the week? Plan your weekly MVP. Set your focus for the week. Okay. What is my primary focus or purpose for this week? Make a theme. For me, it's like I'm coming up on this week is all about planning for building the home for when I'm gone, right? I've got some bids and things. Now I'm talking about my big 3 is building a house, right? So I've got to finalize the plan for our contractors so they can hit the ground running once all of our permitting is done. I've got some loose ends with permits. My fault. I can't keep moving forward without permits. So I've got to take care of some loose ends this week and a bunch of preparation, since I can't do construction this week, preparation to make the construction faster once we get started. Permitting is essential, and that's part of what loose ends. Next week, my theme is going to be being with Nathan Kinsinger and Eli. They're a couple of our Limitless clients that I'm working with, and I'm going to them for 3 days to work with them directly in their hometown. And so my point in that is that's going to be my theme that's different for next week. My MVP and my mission is to get hyper-focused and massive action with those 2 guys while I'm there with them. I have 3 days with them, and we're going to hit the ground running. We're going to work hard because I'm away from my family. So I'm going to stretch that time and make the most maximum out of that time. I'm going to be super efficient. So that's going to be my mission for that week when I'm with them is mission, action, results, and efficiency to plan, help them plan. Because I know that's what they need is to help them plan. For Eli, hey, it's planning his life with this new bride, right? Because he's engaged now. For Nathan, it's business. He's focused on that. But then it's going to be, Nathan, let's get you engaged in this next 12 weeks, or at least have a date, right? So relationship. But that's the thing. And so in those 3 days, I'm going to get hyper focused. So my theme is results with Nathan and Eli. You follow me? Because that's where I'm going to be focusing my time. And I'm also going to be at the inaugural address. It's going to be awesome. But again, that's what's my theme, the vision. What does this look like for this week? I already have it on my calendar. But also, I now have this. This is going to help me to help them. I'm going to help them personally work on their big 3 that they're going to do in the next 12 weeks. Okay? So that's part of my vision of what I'm going to do with them. We're going to implement this very document and make sure they're doing it consistently. Get that in place and moving and moving and moving and moving. Okay, what peculiar, the MVP for that week that I'll be with them, the peculiar, what makes this unique? Special events, obviously I'll be there with them, be traveling, but it's also unique that we're going to start that week with Donald Trump at the inaugural address together. These same 2 guys I'm going to be with. I'm going to be with Ephraim. I'm going to be with Mr. Jabel at that event too. The 5 of us. You all are still invited, man. We love it. We're doing a men's getaway for that. But so step 3 now. Okay, step 2 was identify your MVP for the week. Step 3 is confirm your micros. Reviewing the micros you planned in your big 3, okay, and make sure they're on your calendar. Are they still on your calendar? It's like you're auditing yourself every week. I got my big 3. What am I doing this week to move closer to my big 3? Is it on my calendar still? Like, for instance, today I blocked out a 2-hour block to work on the house stuff. Okay? Nobody could book an appointment for a 2-hour block that I booked. And I worked on stuff. I ran uptown and tried to get some permitting done. And that really just sent me in a tizzy and sent me back a little bit. But the point was, I was doing my best to get that done. Didn't happen as quick as I wanted. But I'm just saying, like, do you see how I planned it? It's on my calendar. It's every week I'm working on that goal of getting that house built in the next 12 weeks. So I got to do something towards it. And it's usually definitely weekly, blocked out time weekly, but also daily. I'm thinking about it, talking to contractors, communicating, getting plans, updates, permit stuff, checking on you see what I mean? It's every day, little bit. But then I blocked out a 2-hour block today. All right. So those are some of the things that are on my calendar. Now, do they need refinement and adjustment? Maybe you need more time. Maybe you don't need as much time. You can lessen it. You can grow it. These are your micros. But again, you're going to get these micros from this form, okay, that you filled out with your macros on it, your big 3, and then the little things that you need to put on your calendar every day. You'll see through the examples what I'm talking about, okay? Because on the examples, let's just go to relational 1. Okay, so relational 1, the micros are example are share daily gratitudes and worthies. That's part of improving in this situation because the macro is to build deeper connection with family and loved ones. That's the macro goal. Someone that wants that. It's not saying that you have to have this. I'm recommending to you that something for you that are single, I would highly recommend that you have a macro in the next 12-week year as getting engaged. That's part of the process of getting married. So if in the next 12 weeks you can get engaged, how cool would that be? Doesn't mean you have to. It's just setting a target. Why not? Be bold. And so in this particular macro goal, this example says build deeper connections with family and loved ones. So then why this matters? Because relationships are my legacy. The limiting story is I'm too busy to make meaningful time for my family. The freedom story is I create time because my relationships are my top priority. And then the micros to place on the calendar as standing appointments is share daily gratitudes and worthies, the Epic 30 process. Relationship, that's the E in emotions and Feldspar. Relationship is plan a weekly date night with loved ones. Now, if you're married, it could be your kids, it could be your wife, of course. If you're not married, let's start planning date nights weekly to start meeting up with people and start getting to know people that could be potentials to marry. Got to be purposeful, got to take action. Now, the other one is adventure. Can you organize family outings for a Sunday picnic, right? That's the adventure. of Feldspar. So you're incorporating the letters from Feldspar into your weekly calendar. So now this is where we say the smaller micros are your Feldspar and implementing those into your macros. Follow me? You'll see it when you have these examples. It'll be more clear, I promise, when you have it in front of you. But the point is that you can organize family outings. If you're single, maybe you can go to a singles event every week. Is it on your calendar? Something, or a church picnic or some kind of event where you're going to socialize and meet more people. It's on your calendar. Build relationships. What are you doing then to have a better social life if you're not married? If you are married, maybe it's incorporating those events with your family, your kids, your wife, or maybe other family members. You and your wife get to decide on that. All right? But you're starting with the baseline plan. Now, that is step 3 of the micros. Now, step 4. It's kind of an advanced step, but men, you get to step up your game and stop wasting your time on social media. Okay? Seriously. Let's sandwich our days. That's what step 4 is. Successfully sandwich your day. Too many times we wake up and go right to the news or go right to social media, and then we're frustrated for the rest of the day because we saw that, we saw that 10 people were murdered last night while we were sleeping. We're like, oh, the world's coming to an end. Of course, I'm exaggerating. But the point is like, can we design our day and sandwich it in such a way that it will help us to be more successful? Yes. Right here, it's your mind. What are you thinking about, guys? I promise you, what you wake up with and do to start your day controls your day, and what you end your day with at the end of the night controls your night and how you sleep and how you dream. It's just real. So it's okay to know that, acknowledge that, and then design it, baby. All right. So this is the final step, step 4 for your weekly calendar. You don't necessarily have to put this one on. It's just making a decision. So what are you going to do in the morning? If you're not doing Epic 30, guys, please, it's 30 minutes of designed, designated connection with your loved ones. How can it get any better than that? Like, seriously, it's a simple thing. If you don't know what Epic 30 is, please reach out to me and I'll help you do it. We can do it together. We can practice together. But if you have a wife, it's essential. Epic 30 is a simple, scientific way of connecting, having gratitude, having edification, having connection and honor to God, releasing, receiving, giving, releasing, receiving, giving, releasing, receiving, giving. It's one of our core activities that works. Now, that's a no-brainer. So some of you, you're already doing this. Great. Okay? Keep doing it. If you're not, can you please start implementing it? You're releasing and receiving from God, and then you're going to give to others. All right? I'm telling you, this is a powerful thing. You release by journaling, receive from God some wisdom and love and gratitude and edification. Then you give that to others, to your loved ones. That's the process, and that's the purpose. Guess what I'm doing? I'm getting into the flow, baby. The flow. Okay? Now, some of you do it at different times. I get it. There is those situations, different work times, getting up early, super early. I get it. And you're doing it, though. That's what's empowering, too, is that you are doing it in spite of your schedules. Well done. Congratulations. But it's an easy thing to make a habit to connect with your loved ones. And guess what, man? You get to say, I got a plan. Remember what I said at the beginning of this? A woman loves a man who has a plan and then takes action on it. Well, Epic 30 is already there for you for the action. 30 minutes, gratitude, edification, journaling. It's all there. Easy, simple. Just do it. Okay? Now, number 2 sandwich. How did you end your night? I'm going to give you a simple, easy one. It's worked for me for years, and I always cycle back through and re-implement it, and I'm doing it right now again. My wife and I, and even my daughter, sometimes we will read a few pages. I choose 10 pages, or depends on what we're reading, of a good book that's going to benefit us in some way. Right now, I happen to be reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad, what we're reading. Okay, so we read a few pages every, and guess what? I do it in bed. Chantel and I'll be in bed, have a little light, and I'll read out loud. And sometimes she falls asleep. Guess what? It's okay. That's good. She tells me I have a voice that puts her to sleep, but I keep reading out loud because it's the subconscious mind taking it in. And by the way, I also sandwich my night with another thing, and that is I play something beneficial for an hour. And there's a timer on my YouTube that plays it for an hour every single night when I go to sleep. Again, some of you are like, dude, that would keep me awake. I couldn't do it. I understand. And I can understand where you're coming from. I'm just saying, like, for me, that's been highly beneficial. So use it, don't use it. But I would definitely say if you're not going to do that, and maybe it'll keep your wife up or something, I get it. Guess what? Over the years, it used to do that to Chantel, it used to do that to me, but we've gotten used to it. Now we always have something beneficial playing for at least about an hour while we go to sleep. Sometimes when we don't do that, it's like we're awake, thinking too much. I'm just saying, whether it's spiritual, whether it's Bible reading out loud, or you could read the Bible at the end of the night. Read a couple chapters in the Bible, read a few pages. I right now am implementing 10 pages of a good book every night. And we're happen to be reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, mindset on wealth versus poverty mindset, right? So it's a great book. So that is the evening reflection on how my day went. Again, that reflection is what? Reflection helps you identify the wins, challenges, and areas of growth. So that's what you want to reflect and talk maybe a little bit about it. Pray with your wife and your kids before they go to sleep. But then read a few pages and let them go to sleep while you're reading. Why not? Again, it's good. It's beneficial. Have our last thoughts of the night be around something beneficial is way better than surfing through social media on Instagram or TikTok, watching TV. Look, our screens are our new TV. So can we do something to design our lives and make it better because we're designing it? You follow me? So then that's those evening and morning sandwiches. They'll probably be on your calendar for some of you. I actually put mine. Our Epic 30 is every morning at 6:30. Every morning it goes on my weekday calendar all the way across. When I fill mine out, it says Family Epic 30 all the way across. Right. And so it's every morning we have an appointment. Hazel knows it. Chantel knows it. Chantel's actually down earlier. Hazel gets ready for school. She comes down ready for school. We do our Epic 30, and then she heads out the door to go to school. Makes sense? It's all part of our process for connection in the morning. Very purposeful. And then in the evening, sometimes Hazel's working late, so we don't get to do it. Sometimes, we have appointments like tonight, but we'll still read a good book if we're going to sleep. I will tonight. I'll read a few pages out loud. And so again, that's the sandwiching. But you see, you got your things, you got your morning routine and your evening routine on the calendars. You confirm your micros from your big three are on your calendar. Your appointments for relationships, your appointments for financial stuff when you're going to work and progress on your financial stuff and come up with ideas, creative ideas. Again, we got lots of examples on our documents here now. Just a 3-page document. Don't get crazy, Carlos, right? And then what is your mission, vision, and peculiar? Remember, you're doing this once a week when you do your calendar. All right. So again, we're trying to simplify the planning system, but make it highly beneficial for you to do it. Not just talk about it, but do it and have a better template on how to do it, right? And just kind of fill out the form and then take that form and fill out your calendar on a week, on a year, on a 12-week basis, right? 12-week year on a yearly basis, and then on a weekly. So you should, by the end of that 12 weeks, have 12 of these. And I choose, just so you know, what I do and what works for us is we fill out 2 of these usually, meaning like I kind of know what's going to happen in 2 weeks. I look at that like, oh, I'd say, oh, yeah, I'm going to be gone. I'm going to be gone. So it helps me to know not next week, next week when I'm gone out of town, like I need to contact clients and Chantel will take some of my mentorships and stuff because I'm there to be present with my 3 days with those guys. So then I'll rearrange appointments or I'll do them early in the morning so they don't interfere with my time with those guys. Make sense? So again, that gives me, if I don't think about that, I can't plan ahead and I am, oh, I got this appointment. I'm with Eli or I'm with Nathan and what do I do now? And I got to be scrambling and calling people. I'm not saying that never happens. It does happen sometimes, guys. Okay, I'm not perfect. But at least if I kind of look at 2 weeks ahead, I can plan ahead and I know, I need to look at, because I have my digital calendar, has my standing appointments on, just so you know, it's a little hybrid to this. So I actually transfer all my standing appointments right onto my digital calendar. And here's why. It's a little hack. Because I have friends, I have relationships, and they'll be, hey, Carlos, dude, hey, what are you doing this Wednesday at like 6 o'clock? Can we grab a dinner together? I look, I'm like, let me check, man. Got my digital calendar, right? Because, I don't carry this all the time with me at paper. But I got my digital calendar because my standing appointments are on it. They're already on it. So I can look and I'm like, I would love to. This Wednesday, the 15th, actually, I've got a date with my daughter already. because it's on there and it's every other Wednesday, right? And so I can go, I'm sorry, man. What about next Wednesday? I don't have a date with her. My wife takes her on a date next Wednesday. Would that work for you? Bam. Do you see what I mean? So that's why I like using the digital. But this gives me a template and kind of gives me my flow of my day, kind of gives me a visual of the week of what's peculiar, what's my mission for the week, what's it look like this week, what's my peculiar, which is essential for the week. I like Jesse's idea too, and even creating an MVP again for your 12-week year. It's going to just make it all that much better. Having your mission for the 12-week year, what's maybe one of your main targets that's the most important. I'm telling you, for me, there's the house, but also there's the business stuff too. There's some big, but see, I have big three in my business. I have big three in my personal life, right? So those are different. So it kind of sometimes bleeds over because it's all in the flow of what we're doing in life. If you're business owners, you're in the flow, but yet my focus for my personal life has big three. My focus for my business has a big three. And now you can have a template on how to help you create those things. Now, I said I'd mention real quick on business. Jable and I were just going through this, so it's cool. But we realized like networking and connecting with people is like the category of relationship. It applies to a business too. It's good to network. It's good to have relationships that are for your business. Collaborations. Okay. This is all in creation code too on how it's going to help your business to grow. Networking is part of it. What are your ambassadors for your company? Are you meeting with them on a regular basis? Who's your biggest clients? Right? Those are the in creation code we talk about this, but I'm not gonna get you confused, but I'm telling you those are important to know them and to meet with them, build that relationship. That's part of the social or the relationship part of your business. You got the financial aspect. We all need to set some kind of target on how our business is going to grow, whether it's a percentage, it's a dollar amount, and then break it down from macro to micro. What do you want to do in the 12 months? But then let's break it down to a more micro on a weekly basis, right? So we know, okay, how many clients does it take to get there? You follow me? And then another big three is the health of the business. What am I going to do to improve the health of the business? See how it fits? It does matter to continue to evolve and grow the business, not only like the infrastructure of it and what it looks like. And Jable's a great example because he has a business that's just started out, steer in the sense of he's been doing it quite a few years, but put a label on it, Pinnacle Designers. I love it. I have a t-shirt. And I definitely highly recommend if you need a designer for your house, we're going to be using him for designs on our property here for homes that we're building. Highly recommend him. He does a great job and gets stuff done. This is networking. This is our community. We want to use each other. So if you know someone that wants to build a dream home, he can do it for you. Even though he lived in Montana, everything can be done digitally now and online. So he'll work it out. I'm just saying. The point is, though, one of the things we talked about is he's going to do a grand opening. Guess what? That's going to help the health of his business. Get him out there. People know who he is, where he is in Libby, Montana, the local vibe, and more contractors will know about him because he does a grand opening. So again, that was one of the big three that we hit with him. We had a financial big three. We had the health of the company through creating a grand opening. And then we had networking events that he can attend that will influence his numbers for financial. It'll influence the health of his business too, but it's really about building relationships that we're going to help him grow overall. Does that make sense? Just a quick example on the business side. All right. Thanks for listening so well, guys. I know there's a lot there. And guess what? I'm going to get you the recording of this so you can watch it over and over and over again as much as you need to. I'll pop it in the men's group. You'll have access to it because you're in this men's group feed. And so, and also I will be getting these documents to you. They are very rough right now. We're going to make them nice. Adina is really brilliant at that. She's taking care of that for us. So we should have that hopefully in the next day or two. Okay. So any questions? Let's open it up now. Thanks, guys, for being here tonight. I hope this was helpful. Again, once you see all the documents and things and can go get them in your hands and start filling them out, I think it'll be highly beneficial. So does this make sense? Is it helpful? Are you glad you attended tonight? Any questions? I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording now. Maybe you guys will talk then.